Alright, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Sir Porksbottom. Decided to make another Honkai Star Rail video. So, I'm doing this one a little differently. I'm actually not recording this commentary live. When I did this, I was playing around with the new Anomaly Arbitration and decided that it might be easier if I just post my commentary over what my plan was for all these knights. So this is the first one. Obviously, I'm using the Aglaea team here. It's changed a little bit. It's been a while since I made a video, and I've gotten quite a few more characters than I think previously existed. So, except I think the last video maybe was like a Nox, so was the newest character. It's been a while since then. My account has changed quite a bit, as you can tell. Here, really, these knights weren't too difficult. I kind of want to give my thoughts on the Anomaly Arbitration, I guess. I don't think the knights were that bad comparatively to some of the other ones. Like the DOT bosses, like the first one was what, 3.6 had. I mean, I really am not a big fan of the Penacony death boss. So I am glad I don't have to fight him again. They do have the same mechanic of the crit damage, like the less enemy health, the less crit damage you do. But I feel like it's just way worse on bosses like that for me personally. Really, the knights were not too bad. I don't think the knights were horrible. On this one, the Ichor Memo Sprite one is pretty easily counterable with the free-to-play Danhong. This one is just a pure fiction boss, more or less. This is like the perfect pure fiction boss. This horse guy spawns in enemies the more you hit him. So he works like a mini propagation boss. Now I haven't done the story yet at this point, so I'm not really sure who any of these things are, like lore-wise or anything. But I mean, they were fun to fight. So previously, I've zero cycled everything. I zero cycled Plight. I zero cycled all 3 knights, and I just wanted to kind of record it and give my thoughts on each one specifically. This one I don't think is bad. So far, none of the pure fiction bosses have been terrible. I think they've all been pretty easy, and there are a lot of really good options for this kind of fight right now. One of them being Archer, who's also free to play. I'm using Aglaea E1 here, so it's a little bit different than using Aglaea E0, especially because I'm getting so much more energy. So she's able to stay in ult a lot longer, and she's able to ult multiple times in one ult cycle, or what would have been an ult cycle, I guess. So she is very, very good in pure fiction, actually able to get a lot of energy here. And E1 Tribby, still E1 Tribby, with Dance Dance Dance, E0 Lingsha with the, now, I don't know if you want to consider it free-to-play or not, but the Memory Shard Luo Chacon, the 5-star Luo Chacon. But the Cyrene is E6, so she's a little bit of a wheelchair for Aglaea here. I can't tell if Aglaea is good, or if Cyrene just makes her that good. It's probably a little bit of both. I do still like Aglaea. I just had to use Sunday on another character, which you'll see in a minute, who I don't think I've even talked about. I haven't talked about Honkai Star Rail in a very long time and posted a video in a long time. I did sort of a playthrough of Expedition 33, and since then I just haven't had the ideas to be posting videos on YouTube, but I've changed my mind recently with some of the Star Rail stuff coming out. I've had a ton of fun with 3.x. The whole version I think was fantastic. I think the summoning was awesome. I loved a lot of the characters. Almost all of them. There's only a couple I didn't summon on, which were Cypher. Now the Dahlia. I'm not summoning for the Dahlia, but I did not summon for Cypher. And and Hysolence. Cypher and Hysolence were the only 2 Crisisers I didn't summon for. But as we can see here, I mean, Cyrene is just really, really good at E6. I mean, it's not even... Really, it's not fair. She does a lot of damage for a character. You saw it did 480,000 right there. Here's the one she gets from her passive with 1.25 million. It's unbelievable. And that second one's also going to advance everybody's action forward a little bit. It's like a mini Dance Dance Dance. It's really good. So I couldn't run Sunday on this team. Obviously, you can't run Sustainless. Aglaea has nowhere near enough HP. And as you can see here, the memo keeper also just like does not have a lot of health. It dies pretty quick. There weren't any runs where I had to reset because the Memo Keeper was dying and I was losing my ult charge or anything like that. But it did get pretty close here. Like, I was very nervous. Like, if it hits Memo Keeper there, I don't know if this run goes. I think I might have had to re-record it. But it's all good. You get that, and we ult, and then the enemy's dead. So yeah, this one's kind of a nothing burger. It's really hard to talk about the Knights with the teams that I have because they kind of die so quick. And I know that was close, obviously, to a 0 cycle. But I don't think it was that close, actually, in practice. I try to figure out how to look at my characters here, so let's look. So Aglaea, E1, you know, whatever, her basic relic set, Bene Academics, Hero, S1. Those are her stats on the right side. Triby's still E1, like I said, with Dance Dance Dance. Cyrene's really the big one here. That's still S4, Dance Dance Dance, by the way. Cyrene, S1 with pretty good relics and E6. I was using, actually, I don't have her at 180 speed either, which I think I should mention, which I've been trying to work on. But her other pieces are so good that I can't really switch them out unless they're all, like, I get the same piece but with a speed substat. Anyways, she's really, really good. It's unbelievable how good she is as a support character at E6, at E2. So I used her at E2 and E6. Those were, I guess technically E3 and then E6 were what I used her at. E3 was really solid still. I think you could pretty comfortably stop at E2. I think E2 should be kind of her baseline. I don't think E0, I've talked about this a little bit with some people, but I don't think E0 should be the baseline for some characters anymore. One of them includes Castorice here, who's E6 obviously that I have. I've had her for a very long time now. She's still, I think, the best DPS in the game. It'd be very difficult for me to. It'd be very difficult for me to go against her being the best character in the game. Her team is still at the forefront of clears. It's still the meta. Even though they tried to slow it down a little bit with the boss here, which we'll get into. Once that fight starts, I'll talk a little bit more about him because I do want to talk a lot about him. Sunday is a very interesting boss for Plight as a king. I think he is a very good design for how Anomaly Arbitration should be moving forward. The last two, which I also 0 cycled both of them. I was unable to do Plight until the highest end boss, but I did 0 cycle the first one normally. I 0 cycled Plight against the highest end boss, and obviously this one. The highest end boss and Lygus both felt like huge Castorice, like just Castorice money. It was just money for her. So easy. They did a ton of damage, so you're getting your ult up all the time. And even the highest one had to heal too, which is obviously very helpful towards the end if you, in the third phase. Because I did count for Castorice new bud, and I mean I'm talking for 10 seconds and then the boss is dead. There's nothing I could bring up about the True Sting. I think the True Sting is just a simple boss. It's one of the better ones to have the lower crit damage on because you can get the guys to pop next to him, which does enough damage, I think. We'll go. Yeah, it looks like I check here too. Yeah, it's obviously E6 has 5 casters. It's not even a debate. Good relics. Very good relics, actually. E6. I have E1 Hyacinth now with her normal relics in S1. I have her at 213 speed there. E1 Hyacinth only for the HP increase. This is E2 Evernight. I wanted her personal damage to be up a little higher, but E1 is the Bane one that you want to get for her. This is obviously just E6 RMC, which I got the cool little hat for, so that's neat. Now, this is the other guy I want to talk about. So I have 3 E6 characters. One is Cyrene, one is Castorice, and the other one is Phainon. I've recently E6 Phainon. He was E2. So I E2'd him on his initial run, and then when he came back just recently here with the Cyrene banner. The second half of it, I guess. I don't really know how you want to say that, but I did E6 him. I did think he needed the E6. E2 is really, really good. However, he couldn't solo carry this team. And there's a reason, like, so Sunday's time in the sun is limited, man. He's very quickly, I feel like he could get replaced with a better Harmony character. I don't know. RMC is arguably better than Sunday for a lot of teams in a lot of situations. At E0. I think Cyrene is better at E2 than Sunday at E0, which is, you know, a nothing burger, obviously. But if you have Sunday E2 versus Cyrene E2, I think Cyrene is better. I think and I say Harmony characters even though those two are Remembrance characters, but Remembrance isn't even like a real path anyways. I do think Sunday is on the chopping block of getting replaced as one of the better Harmony characters in the game. I do think his time is winning. Now, with Ichor Memo Sprite, the reason Don Hung PT I have E0, S0. I'm just using him strictly for the shields. The attack buff is nice. I would have ran Sustainless like I usually do with the Phainon team if it wasn't this guy. This guy has like the guillotine attack, and if you don't have shields, you just insta-die. In this run, it actually ended up not mattering too much because he was dead, as you can tell. He was dead before. Like, my ult would have killed him if he killed me, so it didn't really matter. And you'll see that in just a second here. Phainon E6 is really good. He's another character that I think if you're going to summon for him for E2. Don't even try to be cute and go E0 and just build a team around him. Just summon for him E2. If you can't get him E2, just don't summon. I mean, I know he's already out, but we're going to be seeing this a lot next patch, I think. And yeah, like right here, like even if he killed me, he's dead because my ult's gonna pop and kill him. So that ended up not mattering, but he's dead. Castorice, Cyrene, Phainon, those three characters, I feel like you just shouldn't summon for them unless you can get them E2. Characters like that, when you look at their kits and you look at like they're, you know, a lot better at E2 than they are at E1, and almost like to the point where it's goofy to not run them at E2. Running these characters E0 and trying to build up their best teams is fine and all, but like you might as well just save your pulls for somebody who's very good at E0 too. I mean, Phainon is good at E0, but he's gonna get power crept pretty easily unless they start dropping crazy single target supports. Like if we get a 5-star Tingyan, that what I mean by that is, you know, because we kind of have one already, but like when you have a 5-star with Tingyan's kit, but with 5-star numbers, you know, or like a Wukong, like a 5-star Wukong. But here's the big boy. This one I think is the most impressive fight that they've done in Star Rail yet. I am a huge fan of this fight for one reason, and it's that you can use more teams than just Castorice. The Castorice and the Castorice Evernight teams have dominated the Anomaly Arbitration Kings for the last 3 patches. This one's on pace for Castorice to be the best team for the lowest action value player on Plight, which is, you know, interesting since the Dahlia just came out. But you can use break teams. I've seen, obviously, break is very successful against this boss. He's pretty shilled for break. It's just that Castorice, like, the thing about Castorice is that she uses no action value. And when you're not using any action value, then you're sort of tied up using this team. Like, Castorice, you'll see it here, like what you're currently watching. All these characters here have 0 action value. Like, these characters are all pushed up by Cyrene. But the thing is, so Castorice blows up here. I'll show you what. This is why Castorice is so good. Like, this is truly why she's good. Not just because of crazy damage numbers or nothing. I heal, then I use Cyrene ult, and I'm healing, and watch that new bud percentage go up. Right? Like, as soon as I ult at E2, because E2 Castorice should be your minimum investment for this character, I push myself up, I get an enhanced skill, I get another dragon. That's more damage that costs me nothing. It didn't cost me a damn thing. And I think that's really important to note about Castorice. This is something that the devs are going to have to work pretty hard to find a way around her skill set. And they almost did with Sunday. They did it. This is part of why I think Castorice is so interesting, and I don't know if it's going to be possible to 0 AG. No energy, and the energy charge at the beginning of the match is tough because Hyacinth can't insta-pop her ultimate. And because of that, Castorice can't insta-pop her dragon, and then you get stuck in the cycle where you're constantly using dragons and ultimates and all this stuff. He's almost there. But the interesting thing I think that they did is that Sunday gives shield to the team. So when he does damage to you, he's not charging your Nubo because he's hitting the shield. So it actually ends up being kind of difficult. And you'll see this run, it faded to black. You didn't see me enter this run because this is actually my second time attempting this. The first time I got it was like on my phone, and it was complete luck. I mean, honestly, I was half paying attention. I was just trying to finish it. And realized that I had an opportunity to get the zero cycle. Or the zero... Yeah, zero cycle, right. I was talking about AV earlier, got me screwed up. So, one important thing that I want to note with this fight is that I had to save every single drop of action value that I had. So when I was... At the very start of the match, Castorice was like 4 AV away from using her Scythe right after the Siren, or right before Siren ulted the first time, and pushed everybody's action up. The reason I did that is because I need that 4 action value, and you'll see why at the very end here. I use every action value possible to me in this game, and I even give myself a little bit extra at the end. The first phase I didn't find to be too difficult. The second phase was really not difficult. The first phase is only tough because at first, like, getting him down out of his, like, breaking those res bars was kind of tough. Just because he has so many of them. But the second one, he takes so much damage. Like, look at this number. 15.8 million. Like, this guy's just taking damage, right? And obviously that's because of the buff. Taking the implant weakness buff, I think, is just, I don't know if you ever run anything else unless you're running the break team, which the Dahlia team, Dahlia, Firefly, Foog, and Lungshot seem to be performing extremely well, obviously, because this fight is kind of shielded for them. But you can see I'm at 92 AV left on this turn, or for this cycle here. And the boss is just now dying. I actually messed up here. I thought the dragon was going to blow up. So I popped ult preemptively to get more progress towards my next dragon. That backfired. Obviously, I didn't blow up. I was like one breath shy of exploding there. Now I've been using the Siren ult on Hyacinth the whole time just to give myself a little bit of extra Hyacinth energy. And that ends up mattering. That ends up mattering big time. This is something that I was really concocting for a while. And we use, obviously I'm kind of using the train on cooldown at this point. But you can see my energy with Hyacinth, right? I'm just trying to get that dragon. I'm trying to get that last dragon. Here's where I got a little bit dicey, because I'm like, okay, I can ult now. I can wait for the, you can see the hesitation a little bit. I decided to do this. I'm going to use this to overcharge my ultimate just a little bit more, because Hyacinth's still going. I'm going to get a little bit of extra damage out of my dragon here, as what my original thought was. Now, at this point, because I break him and he's at like 65% health, I thought I was not going to make this one. However, look at this. I mean, this is unbelievable. Cyrene gets her ult because of the Hyacinth Ika. You can see me spamming my ultimate there because I knew it was a run again. And we get it right here, obviously. So the dragon, yeah, I'm just spamming my ultimate button until it pops, so I don't miss the, you know, the 5 action value. And then he dies. So that was, yeah, I mean, that was the run. I'm a huge fan of this Anomaly Arbitration. I think they should make these harder still, but not just in terms of having a ton more stats. I do think it should be harder in terms of, I want the bosses to have more interesting mechanics. I like the train with the Sunday boss fight, for instance. Like, obviously these Anomaly Arbitration bosses are basically cut and paste with different buffs. The mechanics are all pretty much the same for the most part, I think, from when you're fighting them. Besides the buffs that you get from like, you know, the Anomaly Arbitration. I'm hoping that in the future we can get some more interesting stuff like the train. I like playing around the train because obviously I'm not using a break team, so the train helps a ton in getting rid of those res bars. But I do hope for more of that, and I guess I hope you enjoyed my clears. I know they were a little they're very high cost. I think actually, funny enough, my free-to-play friendliest team is actually the Phainon team, which has an E6 Phainon on it. It might be my free-to-play friendliest team, though. Because it's E0 S1 Sunday, E0 S0 Danhong PT, and only E1 S0 Siren, which I am hunting down her cone. When her cone returns, I just missed it. It was a bad timing for me to be summoning on Star Rail, so I missed the cone. But when it comes back, I'm getting that cone. Which for like the 60% extra skill damage or whatever, and I'm going to be locked in on that Phainon team for a while, hopefully. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the clears. If you like more of this like the voiceover content instead of me just like actually, talking as I play, I guess, let me know.